Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Here is a Q&A clip in response to someone asking about this question again. So I'm attaching the Q&A clip from a recent live stream session to the public on Q&As, all things Social Security. So take a listen. There might even be some extra tagged onto it of a different video, so you don't have to go searching for it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Tiana says, I do not have a current specialist for this, so I have had physical therapist ordered from the primary physician. I have brought this up to my shoulder doctor. All right, shoulder doctor sounds like a specialist. And he mentioned seeing his partner. By all means. Sounds like an orthopedist or something, that shoulder specialist. And if he has what'd you say, it was your back? I think you said it was your back. By all means, yes. Go to town on that. Go to town on that. I mean, if you're not able to work, guys, but you are not invalid in bed, if you want to get SSD, consider it your priority of your priorities in life right now. You're not going to job 40 hours a week. You don't have to go to treatment 40 hours a week, but you need to make it your priority job is to get that evidence. So you just saw a little clip from one of our live Q&As. It might leave you more questions, particularly if you had a little piece of that applied to you and some more facts that would make things different. If you do, feel free to put a comment down below about the extra details, and we could maybe even make a video on the particular aspects of that you'd be interested in. So in any event, I hope to see you on Wednesdays, 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also 9:00 a.m. every day. We have a share from the field, so to speak, of things that happen in our workday. So hope to see you then, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, we have to go over this one more time. This is concerns when you have an SSI or Social Security disability claim, the real big importance of addressing medically each and every one of your impairments. I continue to see people who focus on the big bad one, the most painful impairment perhaps. And I get it, it seems natural. It's the one that took them out of their job because they could no longer lift 50 pounds or 100 pounds or whatever the case may be. That is generally going to eliminate jobs like the one you had from being recognized as something you could do full time. It's nice. It's not going to win your case, but it's nice. The reason why attorneys like myself nag you to go after that hangnail or that slightly arthritic hand, fingers that you can't maybe type all day long anymore, even though you don't really care to type anyway, and that's not what your job required, is because that's going to help us prove that you can't do any of the 12,000 occupations that supposedly exist out there in the national and regional economies in substantial numbers that we have to prove you cannot do. So I know I'm a broken record, but you have to go after all these things. The bad back might take you out of some heavy work. There's still thousands of jobs that are going to pin on you. Okay. And you're going to see a denial and you're not going to be happy. I hear people say, well, my doctor tells me that half the people he knows on disability, he's seen get on disability are not as bad as I am, implying that he'll just, win like Flynn and no big battle. Nothing can be further from the truth for the majority of people. And I have to question when a doctor says that, because I have yet to meet a doctor that practices, that knows what the vocational and legal rules are concerning a Social Security disability claim. In fact, their little knowledge is a really dangerous thing, because some of them have their patients sitting on their laurels, not doing anything because the doctor says I'm disabled. Well, SSA doesn't really care what your doctor says, not when it comes to whether he thinks you're disabled. What they care about is his meticulous record keeping as to your symptoms, the signs of the impairments, and how they affect you functionally. It's all about how you function. What limits do they make on your day-to-day functioning? That's everything from walking, sitting, standing, pushing, pulling, concentrating, focusing, using your hands, using your fingers, feeling, fingering, manipulating, bending, twisting, crouching. Does your doctor describe those in the records? You don't know? Maybe you should go order your records and find out. Really important. A doctor saying he's disabled and can't work is going to be tossed on his hind side by the SSA in terms of the weight that statement is going to make. It is explicitly reserved for the commissioner and not for a doctor's conclusions. It's not helpful. It can be actually hurtful. I'm also concerned when a doctor makes a conclusion to a patient, because it almost makes me wonder if can be almost a defensive mechanism, so that if the person doesn't win, it's just the SSA's fault and the doctor's records have nothing to do with it. That's not so. If a doctor wants to know what would be helpful for him to opine about, there are lots of ways to find that out. Sometimes we ask them to. Most of them don't care to provide the 3 minutes of time for their patient to put that information on a 3-minute checkbox form. Some doctors will do it because they realize that their records may not make clear what those things are. This is really important both for work accommodations that would be needed if one were to look for a job, which is also helpful for a Social Security disability claim. Both things, which I involve myself in both. When you, going back to the limiting yourself to just the one big bad thing, when your lawyer or your representative urges you to go to that hand specialist for the arthritic hands or that numbness and tingling in your fingers that you've been blowing off for 3 years because you've been worrying about your sciatic, take heed. Because if you don't, you and you alone are reducing your chances of winning, all right? You're also, if you are eventually going to win, you are encouraging it to take much longer. So you're the one that has to live with that. No one else has to live your life. So I just want to reiterate that. The same would be true. Sometimes people have migraines. This is just another example. And they see the neurologist once a year for follow-up. I would recommend you do more than that. Keep a migraine journal. Maybe see your migraine specialist more than once a year so they can see the fluctuating happenstances of your migraines. Provide a calendar that shows which days you had migraines in every given month, whether there was vomiting, photophobia, phonophobia, were you bedridden in the dark. Don't ignore the migraines because you're worrying again about the sciatic or the bad shoulder or the hips, that you just maybe even had a hip replacement. You have to be able to, for the most part, we have to show more than one impairment because that one impairment is going to carve out a bunch of jobs, but not all of them. And we have to carve out all of them. So there's no such thing as an A-, okay, in Social Security disability. You either get the whole kit and caboodle or you don't. Okay, so that's it for this lovely holiday season. I'm freezing. I don't know about you. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year, if not sooner. Take care now. Thank you for joining and taking a listen to this video. If you have any questions that relate to this or anything else with regard to Social Security disability, retirement, SSI, etc., please do feel free to post it in the comments below, even if it's not necessarily related to this video. And I will see them. And if it's something I can do a video on, I will be happy to do that. If you are looking for representation in a current battle to prove that you are disabled, whether you have applied yet or not, and ideally, if you have not applied yet, that's when we like to come in and start from the beginning and do our wonders. You can go to joydisability.com, look up to your left, and there's a little link for a free SSD evaluation, and we will take a look at it and let you know one way or the other. If you are looking for a consultation, not representation, or you can't get representation for whatever reason, or it's a non-representational type of issue you need to review, you are more than welcome to order a prepaid consultation. It will be with me personally, and that link is on that same page, joydisability.com, but over on the upper right. Anyway, thanks for staying tuned, and I hope to see you every day, 9 a.m. with our little video shares or live Q&A if you want to join me live on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.